Good evening, friends. Today we have a very erudite speaker and a great media personality, Shekhar Iyer, back with us. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Miraji. Greetings to all your viewers. Thank you very
Thank you.
much.
Yeah. So, Shekhar ji, see, a lot of talk is happening about Trinamool Congress member Mahua Moitra moving the Delhi High Court on October 17th, seeking to restrain BJP Nishikant Dubai, advocate Jay Anand, and several social media platforms and media houses from posting, circulating, or publishing any alleged fake and defamatory content against her. Now, the High Court issues notices to the defendants in the case and posted Ms. Moitra's suit for further hearing on Friday in view of the urgency emphasized by learned senior counsel for the plaintiff Moitra list on October 20th, 2023, the High Court order said. Now, tell me, Shekharji, mainstream media has decided to ignore the personal matter relating to Mahua Moitra's money for question in Parliament scam. But I believe her ex boyfriend, who is a SC lawyer, decided to let this publicize. Can you tell us the story?
Well, Miraji, this is. I'll tell you this takes us back to year 2005. I think we should need to know what happened then.
Yes,
There
yes.
was a sting operation by uh, an organization called Cobra Post, and that sting saw that at least 11 members of parliament and six of them belonging to the BJP were ready to accept money to put specific questions decided by the person who was paying the money. And that particular episode saw the then Speaker of the Lok Sabha, Somnath Chatterjee, referring the matter to the Ethics Committee. And within a matter of less than 10 days, motion was moved in both the houses, both Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha, and all those 11 members of parliament were expelled. In other words, their membership was forthwith terminated for compromising their position as members of parliament. Now, I'm just reminded of that episode because this is also on the similar grounds, because what we have got to know so far, though this is a matter of investigation, but the fact that an allegation has been made that the questions that Mahua Maitra put in the Lok Sabha relating to particularly the data collection business, which is an area where a lot of companies have entered, including giants like Adani, as well as there are other players. Now, one such player who is rather upset with the fact that Adani's have backed contracts in several places, gets to approach her and put some question relating to this very business of data collection as to government policies. Because we all know, after it was suspected that our data could be traveling to China, and the privacy of those data collected on all of us could be compromised. So, government of India has been encouraging policy where it is discouraged for any servers to be operating out of China or in countries where China has a very big role, and we have been encouraging servers to be taken out of China. And among this is a big business now. People
Yeah.
are providing e-solutions for operating this data service, because I thought we need to know a bit about that business.
Yes, yes.
Now, Adani has managed to get those contracts. We will not get
Okay.
into that business of how they managed or whether there was something. I mean, that is not the focus of what we are talking today.
Yeah.
But the fact that one of the aggrieved competitors approaches Mahua Maitra through a Supreme Court lawyer friend who is today the whistleblower,
Yeah.
and he has first wrote to the CBI
Mm.
giving details of the questions she asked. At least in that period, say out of 61 questions or so, more than 50 questions were relating to this very particular, and
Okay.
all those questions were issues raised by that company, which is owned by Darshan Hiran Nandani,
Okay.
Hira Nandani, and
Yeah.
who is known to have had several duels with the Adani group. Now,
Yeah.
those questions and some of the issues, some of the representations made by them, they are so identical. The
Yes.
words are identical. But
Huh.
the most serious part of that allegation is that Mahua Moitra allowed her ED and password to be used by these very corporate interests
Yes.
to access and put those questions. And those questions were indeed raised.
mm,
Now, this lawyer friend of hers, Jay Anand,
mm,
the Jay Anand is a person who was not very close to her until even September of last week. We do not know what happened personally at personal level. Well,
mm.
Mahua Moitra in one of her ex posts has said that this is lot to do with some personal rivalry and things have fallen apart. So he has gone on a revenge move.
Mm.
That doesn't answer a lot of those questions, because some of these allegations as to how could somebody access your uh, parliament account, because these
Yes,
members parliament have very protected
yes,
accounts through which they can access the parliament record system, get information, put questions, so many things. Because our parliament has gone completely, paperless. And
mm,
with the new parliament building, these facilities are supposed to enhance a work of a parliamentarian.
mm,
But what we are seeing here is actually questions were put.
yes,
Now it is for Mahua Maitra to explain. When the ethics committee takes place, they will be issuing her a notice, because the Supreme Court lawyer, that is our Jayanand, had also
mm,
written to BJP MP Ishika Dubey, and Ishika Dubey in turn wrote to the Lok Sabha Speaker seeking an inquiry,
mm,
and in turn Speaker has referred it to an ethics committee. A similar pattern followed by Somnath Chatterjee when the Cobra Post expose came,
uh,
showing those 11 MPs
mm,
actually accepting money, and that
yeah,
too very petty amounts like 10,000 and 5,000 and things like, very small amount.
yes,
But that particular thing, there was no actual incident of their asking those questions.
okay,
That only showed their willingness to accept the bribe and ready to put
uh,
those
uh,
questions. See, there the intention was revealed. Here we have an action that needs to be probed.
yes,
So there is a lot of difference in
mm, mm,
the gravity of those, that one and this one.
yes, yes,
That is an intention.
mm,
Nevertheless, a very serious intention. But it is actually
mm,
an act that challenges the very integrity of every parliament member and the very institution of parliament. I think these are very grave charges. And at that time, Minaji,
mm,
I can recall that the expose happened on December 12th,
yeah,
2005.
mm,
And on December 24th,
mm,
matter of say just 12 days, ethics committee gave a report, and Somnath Chatterjee took it up in the House. Pranab Mukherjee, who was the leader of the House, moved the resolution expelling those 10
mm,
MPs who belong to the Lok Sabha. And
okay,
also those 10 MPs, Minaji,
mm,
there were six belonged to BJP,
okay,
three belonged to BSP, and one belonged to RJD, and one belonged to the Congress.
okay,
And the one lone member from the Rajya Sabha also belonged to the BJP. And BJP opposed it, saying that, look, this is a kangaroo court kind of thing.
mm,
You are not giving them, uh, you haven't heard them. This is a summary trial, and then you are getting them out at that time.
mm,
LK Advani who was then the leader. Then he had spoken on this issue in Parliament,
mm,
and in Rajya Sabha, the motion was moved by the Prime Minister himself,
mm,
because he was the leader of the Rajya Sabha and
yes,
as Prime Minister. So you can imagine how seriously the
mm,
ruling dispensation then took it up.
yeah,
Now, similarly, here is the situation. Now, if these charges are proved,
mm,
and what sought to be proved now is, I think the Ministry of Information Technology would be required to conduct some investigation as to find out
mm,
where these parliament accounts were accessed, from which servers,
mm,
were those servers located in Delhi
okay,
or in the usual ISP from where she normally accesses, that is from her residence
mm,
or from her office, or is it from places far away like Dubai
yeah,
or Hong Kong or some other
yes,
place?
yes,
So if these details, if you have a scientific evidence coming
mm,
up, I think Mahua Maitra may not have much to answer, rather face a very severe action.
yeah,
Because, of course, her only defense in this is people are after her because she is against Prime Minister Modi, she is against Adani. But so far, whatever defense she has offered, they don't seem to be very specific to the allegation that has been made. Now, since the CBI is investigated, I would believe that a lot of work would now go into actually about the money trails, because
yeah,
Jayant Anand, who was very close to her, and even it seems the last fight was over a Rottweiler pup.
mm.
He had brought it from a home and then he went and
Not a
returned it.
not a Louis Vuitton bag.
No, but he has mentioned Louis Vuitton bag as one of the items that was
Okay.
presented to her
Uh, uh,
by her benefactor
okay.
in return for asking the questions that he wanted to be asked.
Ah, okay.
So one can see,
Hmm,
there is a pattern to this, and there are too many details.
hmm.
I'm afraid we are not able to dismiss it as some allegation made
Yes.
by a spurned friend or a spurned, whoever. So I think this is much more to the eye, but it also brings us, to a point where we need to ask ourselves:
Yeah. Yeah.
if somebody is just anti-Modi,
Hmm.
if somebody is just anti-Advani, if somebody is just anti-BJP, do they get a shield to do whatever they want?
Hmm.
Are they then beyond the
Yeah.
purview of the law of the land,
Hmm.
or even as a privilege as a member of parliament? I mean, these are questions that are going to be asked.
Should be
And I
asked.
can
Yes.
tell you, Meenaji, one
Hmm,
person who is going to be very upset with this whole episode will
hmm.
be her party leader, Mamata Banerjee.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because Mamata has found her that she has hardly been, I mean, Mahua has been hardly bothered
Tell me
about
something,
Bengali.
Shekharji, about that. Her relationship with Mamta ji, and what is her character? Mahua's character also.
No, you see, Mawaz has been some kind of what I would say a political upstart. I
Hmm.
mean, I can see that because she was in the Congress. She was in the Congress when Rahul had just moved in, and I'm told she was associated with some Rajiv Gandhi Foundation projects. But
Okay.
somehow I think she realized that you need to do more tapasya to get any position in Congress. I'm using the word tapasya because if you remember, Pawan Khera,
Huh,
when he did not make it to Rajya Sabha last time,
huh.
then he gave with an observation saying that मेरी तपस्या में कुछ कमी रह गई है. Means there was some shortcomings or
Yeah.
shortfall in
Huh,
my
huh,
service to the party, which he
huh.
described as tapasya.
Yeah.
So therefore, I am saying she realized that it needs a lot more tapasya, probably several
To
lifetimes,
fit in.
in order to get something in the Congress.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
therefore, she left that and came to Mamata. And
Yeah.
of course, Mamata was then in a mood to, take in people who are seen as very the sophisticated kind,
Yes. Yes.
which she did not spot in her own party's rank and file.
Or
So
in
you
herself.
saw her
Yeah.
nominating film stars,
Hmm.
nominating, social celebrities.
Yeah.
So that
Yes.
is how Mahua Moitra came in. Of course, there are certain
Hmm,
plus points of Mahua Moitra. She is a
hmm,
good speaker. She
hmm.
having worked abroad. I mean,
But Shekharji, I've heard that she has very often plagiarized stuff, and announces them in, in the house.
Miraji looks like he won't let me complete. Complete. So, if I have to describe her any one particular quality, which many members, other colleagues in parliament think,
Yeah.
one is
Yeah.
their felicity with language, but
Yes.
more than the felicity with the language, it is their ferocity, which
Okay.
is which has always made headlines.
Hmm,
So that is where we are. But then Mamata has, in several meetings, in internal party meetings, Mamata has often pulled her up. There
yeah.
was one particular occasion in Krishnanagar itself, which is a parliamentary constituency, where Mamata told her to shut up
Hmm,
because she was not listening to what the local leaders were saying.
okay.
And
Hmm,
everybody in Trinamool says, look, it's doubtful whether she will get a renomination
hmm,
because she has not done much work in Krishnanagar and she has not been frequent in the constituency. And
yeah.
any public appearances of her have
Hmm,
little to do with her constituency or work as a Lok Sabha MP, other
okay.
than the fact of late she has been quite energized by taking up the cause on
Hmm,
behalf of Adani's detractors.
okay. Oh, yeah. So, what is exactly her relationship with Shashi Tharoor? Because suddenly a lot of pictures have popped up where they're celebrating something. I don't know what they're celebrating, but people are quite surprised. Not surprised with Shashi Tharoor, of course, but with with her in the picture as well.
No, I mean, yeah, but there are several pictures have come of,
Hmm,
she being in the company of other parliamentarians, and
yes.
whether it
Yes.
is some birthday party or something. I mean, of course, of late she has been linked very closely with the Biju Janata Dal member, that is Pinaki Mishra,
Yes.
and Pinaki Mishra belongs to Biju Janata Dal. He is already a more than three times MP from Puri, Odisha,
Yes. Yes.
and I doubt whether he will also get a ticket to contest this time. So
Hmm,
I do not know about that, but definitely she has been quite a. She's a social person, and I mean these pictures are not surprising. But the fact that some of these pictures are late as last September, I
yes.
mean when even she has been seen in the company of this very lawyer who has, has turned has called himself a whistleblower,
Yes.
and we do not know what really went wrong. But
Hmm,
the charges that have come forth,
hmm,
I think, Minaji, we can't dismiss it lightly,
Yeah, yeah,
because
yeah.
if you are allowing, or you should have made a complaint saying that your security, I mean your cyber security has been breached,
Mm,
somebody has accessed your account or something like that. We don't
mm,
see anything of that kind. Of
mm,
course, whatever we get to hear from people close to Mahua is, look, this is very ordinary. My staff people sometimes, they do some research and put the questions and things like that, but
mm,
none of which is very convincing, because there is a pattern.
mm,
And if these patterns were to be supplemented by investigation into, say, money trails,
mm.
I think that will leave the whole situation in a to a point where I think she herself would be sorry for herself.
Perhaps that would also explain the fetish for luxury brands also.
No, but it is a known thing, Meenaji, that in Delhi, parliamentarians have been subject to this kind of influence.
Yes,
That if the Cobra sting operation
yeah,
showed the inclination of some members of parliament,
yes,
you know, somehow try to see that your hands are greased for
yes.
even though small work, even for a very petty amount. So
Mm,
one can see that how, but I haven't heard of like this, because I mean this is very strange, because last time, when six BJP MPs were found to be willing, or that was taken very seriously by
mm,
BJP, and that came as a shock even for the
yes,
party leadership then. But here is a situation where you find a lot of Trinamool MPs are under scanner for they being under pressure from Mamta to mop up funds for the party,
okay,
where some of them had very questionable links, and we are already seeing that the investigation going on. ED has been burdened with several cases in West
mm,
Bengal, particularly on the orders of Kolkata High Court. So these are situations which is pointing to where, look, we cannot say that our members of parliament are immune from this kind of
yeah,
influence.
mm,
They are very much a willing party, one must
mm,
say. So therefore, I think we will have to wait for the ethics committee report. But this is going to get serious, Meenaji. That's for sure. And I do not see the government or the Lok Sabha speaker willing to take any lenient view. Not because it is Mahua Moitra. That
mm,
is more because just the parliament, a new parliament building has been opened. Prime
mm,
Minister has been talking about the need for commitment from the people's representatives, and to utilize the parliamentary hours for looking at solutions for the long-standing problems of this country. So these are grave issues,
yes,
and for anybody to get into some corporate warfare and between two competing bidders, and then you and there is no way you can explain. We do
yes,
not wish to go into personal lives of anyone.
yeah,
That's the area, that's
mm,
not our concern. But
yeah,
definitely, when it involves probity, when it involves conduct in an
yes,
official capacity, I think that we need to all sit up, take notice, and expect the investigating agencies to do their job.
yeah. So while on Tharoor, can you tell us? See, Tharoor seems to have made a statement that the PM candidate of Congress party will be Rahul Gandhi or Kharge, as his is a family-oriented party. Is he planning to join the BJP?
Well, Meenaji, I don't think he would join the BJP, but he is known to throw googlies at his own party. See, one thing is very clear: Rahul Gandhi, Sonia Gandhi, Priyanka Gandhi are unhappy with Shashi Tharoor, because he didn't take the hint when they made it clear that they wanted Mallikarjun Kharge to be elected unopposed. Though they had, he took their words literally for inner party democracy. So therefore, elections, they are not with anybody. They are not favoring any candidate. I don't know, with Shashi Tharoor, given his level of intelligence and understanding, how he accepted in face value what they were saying, and he announced his candidature.
Yeah,
Then he was persuaded by some people who were speaking on the behalf of the Gandhis to tell him,
mm,
look, please allow Kharge to be elected unopposed.
mm,
Though on the when he sought their blessings, they didn't say no to him.
yeah,
They said yes,
mm,
go ahead. We want a very, because the Gandhis were trying to prove the point. Look, we do not control anything, and to get away from that image of being dynastic politics.
mm,
And if it is not Sonia, it is Rahul. If it is not Rahul, it is Priyanka. With
yeah,
Prime Minister repeatedly saying, look, the corruption that one has seen under the Congress is largely due with the dynastic politics,
mm,
and that has been pinching them hard. That's why they first they wanted Ashok Gehlot there, but Ashok Gehlot realized what is the nature of the job, which probably Kharge is realizing now, and therefore I think Ashok Gehlot said, "Let me hang my boots even as chief minister of
to
Rajasthan,
Rajasthan.
rather than being Namke Vaste Congress president there."
Yeah,
Now Shashi Tharoor has supposed to have told what he calls a private gathering in Thiruvananthapuram
Yeah.
that, well, it looks like we are going to do very well, and if we are going to do very well, we are at a striking distance from forming the government. It will be, well, Congress president is Karge. People are talking about Congress going to offer a first Dalit prime minister, but I think it will be Rahul Gandhi, because we are, after all, a family,
Uh, uh,
party. It's a family party affair. He
mm,
was candid. I mean, this is his
yeah.
estimation is estimation of every Congress leader worth his salt or
Yes.
her salt. I mean, there's no doubt about it.
Mm,
But when he said this, I think it did not make news
mm,
until Rahul
mm,
Gandhi chose Mizoram to make that statement saying,
uh,
now, see, you are seeing a change, Miraji. Earlier, they used to be on the defensive,
mm,
the Gandhis particularly.
mm,
When some, because of this constant attack from the BJP that, look,
yeah.
this is a
Yeah.
dynastic politics, the Gandhis decide everything, it's a family, the
Mm,
birth is more important, the pedigree is more important than you're serving as a leader
yeah.
or you as a worker of the Congress party. That probably they were so upset by that constant thing. The comparable is like when Indira Gandhi called elections
Yeah.
in 1977. That is because whole world was calling her a dictator and she didn't like the tag.
Yeah. Yeah.
Similarly, these Gandhis have not liked the tag of being a dynast,
Yeah.
forebearers of dynastic politics.
Yeah.
So Rahul has been quite on the offensive now. He
Uh,
says, look,
uh,
he doesn't talk about what is his Gandhi's role in the Congress party,
yeah. Yeah.
which is as intact as ever.
Mm,
Rather, he has been saying, look, BJP, what is happening? It's all full of dynasts.
mm,
Who is Jai Shah? Who is
mm,
Amit Shah? Why is Jai Shah heading? Now, BCCI is a different organization.
yeah.
It is
Yeah.
not a party that is contesting elections.
Yeah.
And then he said, look, there are some, what about Rajnath's son? What about X, Y, Z? He started. Now, there are families of political leaders whose children are in politics,
Mm,
but their presence in politics is not same as the succession we have seen in the Gandhi family and in the
yes.
hierarchy of Congress party. These are not comparable.
Mm.
Now, moment Rahul said this and it made headlines, out comes this story from Thiruvananthapuram,
Shashi
with
Tharoor.
the candid declaration by Shashi Tharoor. Now,
Yeah.
I think this is going to even make the Gandhis even more to be unkind with Shashi
Mm,
Tharoor.
mm,
And I don't see a reason where, of course, he has got into the Congress working committee somehow. So I doubt he will be given a ticket to contest from Thiruvananthapuram. I
mm,
doubt it very much.
mm. And BJP won't take him.
I don't see, because you see, the problem is, of course, he has been making noises saying appreciating Prime Minister for
Mm.
G20
Quite a lot.
and
Yes.
other policy
Mm,
initiatives.
mm.
But I do not know until one day he decides he will abuse the Gandhis and come out. I do not know.
Yeah. So moving on to Biden, do you think Biden will be able to stop the war with Hamas? Why is he visiting a war-struck country? And will it turn into an Israel-Iran war? What will be the role of India as a bystander, or what?
Well, what has happened is everybody has been expecting in the last 72 hours that Israel would invade Gaza to
Yes.
completely demolish the Hamas infrastructure. But we have also seen Biden has been engaging Netanyahu repeatedly. He sent Blinken twice, the US Secretary
Yes.
of State, twice to Israel, talking to them, talking to the Israelis to show caution and to see that the conflagration doesn't
Mm,
spread.
yeah.
Because the worry is with Iran making it very clear that if there was a ground invasion by Israelis,
Mm,
they would then completely back Hezbollah and even engage the Israelis directly, and that would mean inviting other players into that
mm,
scene.
mm,
This is a worry for Saudi Arabia, for UAE, even for other countries
mm,
who do not wish to see that this particular, and none of them are friends of Hamas.
mm.
I mean, they realize what Hamas is, the kind of terror infrastructure it has created, and the way it had made the life miserable for even the Palestinians in Gaza much before
Yes.
this happened.
Mm,
I mean, everybody knows about it.
mm,
And now the fact that Biden just before his arrival in Tel Aviv today, he had
mm.
given an interview to the CBS
Yes.
where he mentioned, look, we condemn what has happened. I mean, what the Hamas did. Hamas is a terrorist organization
Mm,
for the massacre it undertook in southern Israel. But in the same breath, he said, look, we expect Israel to respond in a manner that is in keeping with the UN laws, with the
mm,
keeping with the international laws on war,
mm,
particularly that you don't harm women and children.
mm,
You don't harm the people who are not directly combatants.
mm,
Now, this kind of preclude to Biden's arrival there, and the fact that the Gaza invasion is being put on hold
mm,
looks like some peace formula that Biden is promising the Israelis as well as the others.
yeah,
What the US would like is first get those hostages out,
mm,
because the number of hostages, people are saying they could be 250, they could be 300, but a number of them are Americans, British, probably there are French, some Canadians. So there are a lot of foreigners who are there among the Israelis who have been taken hostage.
mm,
Young people, young women,
mm,
children, so many people are there. So probably the American interest would be to see that if a negotiation is possible to release
mm.
the hostages.
Okay.
Now, we have seen the condition Hamas has put. The
Mm,
first condition was they. I mean, this has happened before. Swapping of prisoners. Some of
yeah.
the hardcore Palestinian radicals are
Mm,
released from the prisons in Israel in return for whoever they are holding as hostages.
mm,
Now, apart from that, look, there is something more that has come, because some of the new demands have also been placed. There could be involvement of money also, and well, Americans are taking responsibility, trying to assure Israel, look, just hold on. Let's clear that area so that I don't see, Biden. It's also an election year in America.
yes.
The primaries will start from March.
Yeah.
If President Biden can bring about some kind of a solution, it
Mm,
will be feather in his cap.
mm,
It will definitely boost his chances of getting renominated as Democratic Party presidential candidate. And we are already seeing a lot of confusion in the grand old party, that is
mm,
Republicans. So there is a lot of element of US presidential
yeah.
elections also
Mm,
in the current crisis. But how long can Israelis hold on? I
mm,
mean, be on a pause button when, because the rockets continue to be fired. Now, take
yes.
for instance the latest
Mm,
development,
mm.
the horrible attack on a Gaza
The
hospital.
hospital. Mm,
Yeah, in more than 500 children have been killed, and everybody is accusing Israel. In fact, all those who back Hamas are saying it's Israelis did it, whereas Prime Minister Netanyahu, even the Israeli Defense Forces have come out with pictures of radar, satellite imagery to show looks like either a rocket launch directed at Israel
mm,
going haywire, or it is something self-inflicted in order
mm,
to bring bad name to Israel. Now,
mm,
this is what Tel Aviv has been saying, and
mm,
but our Prime Minister has quickly condemned this particular
mm,
attack on the Gaza hospital, and he has sought that the culprits must be brought to justice.
yeah. Yeah.
So you can see that somewhere along India probably believes that this may not be the work of the Israelis,
Yeah.
because
Exactly.
the Israelis have been under tremendous
Yeah.
pressure.
Mm,
And with Biden arrival there,
mm,
I don't think the Israelis would have gone and done this at a time. Everybody is urging them to give a
yeah.
peace initiative a chance.
Yeah. Shekharji, see, just yesterday or day before yesterday, we had Dr. Shiva Ayyadure, who is a presidential candidate for USA. And he said, see, there's Indians don't even understand what's happening there. This is all a very, very planned and strategic move that, Netanyahu has made because he himself is in problem in Israel. And also the fact that, see, under Gaza, there's a lot of gas, which is what USA wants because USA has run out of gas, and so this may be strategy to get that, and so this is not because see something like people popping out from the sky and an overnight strike without them realizing it when they have such high security forces and everything, technology. How is it that they were not aware of all this? So he's put in another theory saying that, see, Zionists are the same face as Hamas, and they have done it purposely, because they have an intention. you know
So yeah, Biraji, there are several conspiracy theories going around.
yes, yes, yes.
There are several.
Mm,
But it is some facts that have emerged is,
yeah,
Hamas came into the picture after the 2005 elections
yes, yes.
in Gaza. And after that, there has been no election. They virtually routed the Fatah group, which is
Mm,
the Palestine Liberation Organization's political wing. And then since then, that has been confined to the West Bank,
mm,
and they head the Palestinian National Authority.
mm,
Now, the story that goes around is that Netanyahu initially encouraged Hamas in order
yes,
to destroy the Palestinian leadership.
yes.
And he thought a group created under their year would be more easily amenable to their pressures. But subsequently, there was a ceasefire. Your Israel had withdrawn in 2014. After 2014, 2015, they withdrew from Gaza and left it to Hamas. There was some kind of an understanding that Hamas would not trouble Israel, southern Israel, or the settlements. And in turn, some kind of a normal activity would be allowed in Gaza. That saw a lot of people from Gaza being able to travel through the border,
Yes.
through the check gates, go to work in Israel, come back, send money back. So it was a kind of a normal life, and Hamas needed that kind of money. But they used this period to prepare for this horrible assault of October 7th, which has shattered the Israeli psyche completely. Because, as you mentioned, they thought there was something invincibility about the defense system. That has
Yes.
gone.
Yes.
That is what is shocking even us,
Mm,
because Israel was known for, way ahead in terms of
mm,
spyware, in terms of
mm,
surveillance technology, in electronic warfare and things like that.
mm,
How could such a thing could have happened? Now,
mm,
I am also told about another particular episode, which I thought I should mention,
mm.
that it seems this was a Jewish festival season, and a
Yes.
particular festival day,
Mm,
probably around that October 6th, 5th, 6th, 7th, historically, in terms of the pre-biblical era, Jewish
mm.
used to gather in a spot somewhere close to his back in those desert, desolate area and observe a festival.
Okay. Oh,
And Jewish elements, particularly the hardcore elements, have been pressing on Netanyahu
yes.
that they should be allowed to conduct a similar festival this time,
Mm, mm,
involving a lot of Jewish settlers and others to go over there. This is
yeah.
apart from the music festival in southern
Mm,
Lebanon, which
mm,
was targeted.
yeah.
Now, Netanyahu agreed, though the Israeli military leadership was against it, saying it posed a security risk
Yes.
to allow such a gathering. So,
Mm,
therefore, some of the Israeli army units were shifted from southern Israel, close to the border with Gaza, to close to West Bank.
okay. Okay.
And so, probably the response and reaction time of Israeli
Would have
forces
slowed down.
were, but that still does not explain
Mm,
how
mm.
their gate wall or the firewall
Iron wall. Yeah. Yeah.
that failed. I mean, that still
Mm,
doesn't explain it. That's why I said there are several theories. But for Netanyahu, it is the biggest crisis in his life.
mm,
Maybe once the peace comes, I don't know if Israeli people are going to easily forgive what has
mm,
happened to them under
mm.
Netanyahu.
Yeah. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Shekharji. And I think with this, we can end this session. Thank you so much for a wonderful talk with you. And we'll see you again next week. Thank you so much. And Jai Hind.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Bye bye.